it's Carrie here. I am back with another video. I wanted to do a video today on macronutrients, specifically the carbohydrate. In a couple of my earlier videos, I had referenced balancing your macros, and I realized that I didn't have the videos available to showcase how exactly to do that. So I thought what I would do is walk through each of these macros in a separate video and then compile all of them so that you can see how to make the perfect plate. So no matter where you are, you will be able to take a look at your plate and say, I've got the balance of all of my macros and I'm ready to eat and be healthy and get my nutrients. So let's get started. So first, let's talk a little bit about what is a carbohydrate. So a carbohydrate is a macronutrient, and that macronutrient is one that provides all of the energy for your body. So in general terms, the body gets energy from a couple of other places, but the carbohydrate supplies most of the energy for your body, and what's commonly referred to as the fuel that starts the fat burning process in your body as well. Carbohydrates come in lots of different forms. They come in solid forms like this potato, this great sweet potato. It also comes in grain forms like quinoa, which is actually a seed, and oats. And it also comes in forms like fruit, like the sugars in a fruit, and also liquids like in honey, and in cane sugar itself, like white sugar. And the best part about carbohydrates is that many of the whole foods versions, such as these and the oats and even the fruit, have a lot of fiber. Fiber just passes right through the body. It doesn't actually get digested by the body. So it helps move things along, if you know what I mean. But the carbohydrate should comprise about 45 to 60% of your daily caloric intake, so you should be eating a lot of these during the day. And let me tell you, I know that there have been fads out there about eating low carb and going gluten-free, which basically for a lot of people means taking out all carbs from the diet. It's not really the best choice or best option. Go see your doctor, talk to your nutritionist about what is the best choice for you. But what I can tell you is I've tried everything because of my own digestive issues, and I've added carbs back into my diet and I've been a lot happier. Carbohydrates really do help provide a lot of that opportunity to eliminate things from the body, as well as give you just a lot of energy. And that's what we're looking for throughout our day. So the next thing I want to talk about is walking through the good carbs versus the bad carbs. Good carbs are great for you as long as you're making the choices to eat the best carbs possible. So let's start with some of my standard favorites that I keep in our kitchen at all times. They're always stocked. You can always find one of these in our kitchen. So, starting with the sweet potato. I like the sweet potato for a couple of reasons. Super easy to prepare. I will link in down below another video that I showed how to actually prepare the sweet potato. This is so easy to prepare in so many different ways. In fact, this morning I microwaved one so that I could get it soft so I could make a muffin with it, like a sweet potato muffin. So easy. But usually I just chop this up, add a little olive oil, and stick it in the oven for about 15-20 minutes, and then I have sweet potatoes ready to go. Oats. These are always in our kitchen. I have two different kinds of oats. Rolled oats and steel cut oats. Steel cut oats are my absolute favorite, but I recognize that not a lot of people have a ton of time to prepare steel cut oats. So if you do have time to prepare steel cut oats, they are definitely the healthiest for you. They have the most fiber and they have the nuttiest quality and flavor. If you don't have time, I would recommend going with rolled oats, but not the instant oats. Those are highly processed. Rolled oats at least have the composition of oats and are better for you whole food wise. These actually turned into flour, and those muffins that I talked about earlier in the video, I created muffins with oat flour. Just pulverized these oats and used those for flour instead of using whole wheat flour. Another great staple that I have in our kitchen is brown rice. I prefer brown rice to white rice. White rice tends to have a little bit more of a higher glycemic index, which means that it raises the sugar levels in your body a little bit faster because it breaks down faster in the body. But still, this brown rice does a great job. And we buy it either in bags like this or we get it in the bulk bins at Whole Foods. Always keep it handy. So easy. You stick it in boiling water on the stove, put the top on, set it to simmer, and 30 minutes later you have some servings of rice. We make it early in the week and then just scoop it out as necessary, and I need about a cup of the rice to fulfill my serving of carbohydrates for a meal. Now here's a wild card that I think is really interesting. Quinoa. This comes in different kinds too. This is the white quinoa. They have rainbow quinoa. There's also, I believe, red quinoa. Might be like the brown speckled quinoa. Quinoa is actually a seed and it's from Peru. And the Incans would make and consume quinoa as a source not only of carbohydrate, but also of great plant-based protein. So you're getting two different elements here when you're making quinoa, but just know that especially if you eat gluten-free like I do, this is a great substitute for something like couscous. So if you wanted to make a tabbouleh, you could substitute quinoa for the bulgur wheat and it would still taste the same. I like to have this on hand as well. Sometimes it's just nice to have whenever you don't want to eat rice anymore. Now let's shift the conversation just a little bit. Now that you know the top carbohydrate sources that we have in our kitchen, I want to also talk about other carbohydrate sources that we keep in the kitchen but we use sparingly. And by sparingly, I mean maybe once a week, and for some of them every day, only because they are a part of a full balanced meal. So let's talk a little bit about fruit. This orange here is a great source of vitamin C. It has lots of vitamins, lots of minerals, but it is a fruit. And fruit carbohydrates are a little bit different than whole grain or sweet potato carbohydrates. All carbohydrates raise the glycemic index. However, fruits raise it a little bit faster because of the sugars in the fruits themselves. These aren't necessarily bad. Why, you ask? Because if you're consuming fruit with either the skin, if it's an apple for example, or in the orange case, with the fibers, like you're eating the whole sections of the orange, that slows down the digestive process and the spike in the glycemic index because fruit has fiber. And like I said before, fiber slows down the digestion, and we can't actually digest fiber, so it takes a long time. Our body is working to try to digest that fiber, and it realizes that it can't, but it's worked really hard to do that, and so it hasn't really taken as much stock of the sugar to raise the process. Ooh, my phone just went off. So fruits are good. I would say limit them as long as you're eating deep colors, like the sweet potato for example, or deep colors like oranges or pomegranates or any deep colored food. It's better than eating something from a package, but I would say limit your fruit intake in favor of vegetable intake. The next not so good but totally not bad option for a carbohydrate is the liquid carbohydrates such as honey or maple syrup. The reason I say these are not so good but not quite bad is that these can be used sparingly. They do have a lot of carbohydrates. In fact, let's see how many for a serving. For a 1 tablespoon serving of this honey, ooh, there's a lot of sugar in here. There's 16 grams of sugar, and if we were to talk about sugars, an adult woman should only have about 25 grams of sugar. So if you're having 1 tablespoon of this, you've basically consumed half of your sugars for the day. So in any case, honey and maple syrup are not so bad, but I would say use them even more sparingly than I would say eating the fruit. These do provide energy. It's a different kind of energy, but it is energy indeed, and it should be eaten sparingly. Finally, let's talk a little bit about the cane sugar. As you can see, we do keep sugar in our household, in our kitchen. I keep this in the freezer. We don't use it very much. I think I've had this for almost a year. And the reason is that we don't eat that much sugar in our day-to-day lives. Sugar is terrible for you, and I'll create a different video that describes just how bad sugar is. But what I wanted to say is this is also a carbohydrate, and sometimes you do need to get some carbohydrates from sugar. But what I would say is stay away from it as much as you can. Sugar is like the cocaine of today, so don't eat sugar if you can help it. So, carbohydrates, there you have it. This is number 1 of 3 videos on macronutrients. And in the last video, I will show you how to put together an ideal plate, an ideal composition of a plate, so that you can get a sense of how many carbohydrates, how much fat, and then how many, elements of protein we want to put on a plate. And I can do it for a vegan plate, and I can also do it for a non-vegan plate, so that you can see how everything balances out. But hopefully through this video you have a better sense now of what a carbohydrate is, what a good carbohydrate is versus what a bad carbohydrate is, and some staples to keep in your kitchen to make sure that you always have good carbohydrates on hand. Did you like this video? If so, make sure to give me a thumbs up below, as well as subscribe for more videos like this. And if you have any comments, put them down below. I would love to hear what kind of videos you would like to see me do next, as well as any other topics that you're really interested in. Thanks, my healthy friends, and I look forward to sharing another video with you soon. Bye!